At just 17 years old, she fell from the sky into the heart of the Amazon jungle and survived alone for 11 days. What happened next defied every law of survival. It was the morning of December 24th, 1971, in the bustling city of Lima, Peru. A seemingly ordinary journey was quietly beginning, unaware of the extraordinary events that lay ahead. The flight numbered LANSA 508 had just departed from Lima. Its course would take it over the dense, mysterious expanse of the Amazon jungle before reaching Pucallpa. Aboard the aircraft were 92 souls, 86 passengers and 6 crew members. Most were traveling home to celebrate Christmas, unaware that this journey would soon turn into a nightmare. Among the passengers was a 16-year-old girl traveling with her mother. Her name was Julianne, a young life on the threshold of an ordinary journey. Julianne's father was a biologist who had spent years teaching her the basics of the jungle and the natural world. At the time, no one realized that this knowledge would soon mean the difference between life and death. The lessons of the jungle, once playful, were about to become critical for survival. The plane slowly passed over the dense Amazon jungle, a vast expanse of green forests and winding rivers. This was the jungle that would, for 11 days, become the ultimate test of life and death for Julianne. The plane had reached its cruising altitude, gliding quietly over the vast Amazon jungle. Below, endless green forests and winding rivers stretched into the horizon, a serene landscape that would soon conceal unimaginable challenges. Gradually, the sky began to change its hue, and ahead, dense clouds gathered ominously. The serene journey over the jungle was slowly giving way to an uncertain and threatening atmosphere. The captain decided to navigate the flight into the clouds, a choice considered routine at the time. Yet beneath the calm skies, as the plane disappeared into the clouds, heavy rain and violent winds closed in around it. Lightning ripped through the sky, and the shaking aircraft turned the journey into a terrifying test. Inside the cabin, passengers could feel it immediately. The turbulence was growing stronger with every second. Each violent jolt tightened their grip as fear quietly spread through the silence. No one inside the cabin realized that within moments, this routine flight was about to become a horrific disaster. What felt like tension was actually the final warning. Suddenly, a blinding flash tore through the sky, followed by a deafening crack of thunder. In that instant, the storm revealed its true fury. The aircraft began to shake violently, as if control was slipping away second by second. Warning signs flickered, and the struggle to stabilize the plane had begun. Then a violent explosion echoed through the aircraft, as if a critical part had suddenly torn away. The cabin shook in terror, and panic rushed in before anyone could react. Inside the cabin, objects began to lift into the air, weightless and out of control. Passengers clung desperately to their seats, bracing for what came next. At that very moment, the aircraft began to break apart in midair. Metal screamed under pressure, and the flight crossed the point of no return. Strapped to her seat, Julianne was hurled into the darkness, falling silently through the night sky. Below her, the jungle waited, unseen and unforgiving. Every section of the aircraft was tearing itself apart, ripped free from its place in midair. The entire structure collapsed under pressure, scattering into the storm. Below her was nothing but darkness and jungle waiting in silence. There was no escape now, only the certainty of what awaited her. Pieces of the aircraft began to fall away, raining down through the darkness. Inside, everyone was being pulled toward the earth below. Still strapped to her seat, Julianne kept falling until she slammed into the dense green canopy below. The Amazon jungle broke her descent, and in that moment, survival became possible. After the impact, Julianne fell unconscious, swallowed by the darkness of the jungle. When the noise faded, her first day of survival had already begun. Julianne was badly injured, with at least one bone broken, but she was conscious, alone in the jungle and aware that survival now depended on her alone. She remembered her father's words, "Find water and follow the river. Where there is a river, there is always a chance of finding people." She began to walk, each step a battle against pain and fear. Every movement reminded her how fragile survival truly was. The jungle was never silent. Life echoed from every direction, unseen, surrounding her with constant movement. Hunger and thirst had now become her greatest enemies. With every step, her strength and survival demanded more than courage alone. She ate only what she recognized, knowing that a single mistake could be fatal. In the jungle, caution was as important as hunger. As night fell, the jungle became far more terrifying. Darkness erased all sense of safety, turning every sound into a threat. In the darkness, every sound felt closer, louder, and more terrifying. The jungle no longer slept, it watched. There was no fire, no light, only the jungle and the fear it carried. She remained completely still, barely daring to breathe. In the darkness of the jungle, even the smallest movement could reveal her presence and cost her everything. The night felt endless, stretching on without mercy. Every passing moment tested her strength, as if darkness itself refused to let go. Despite the exhaustion and fear, she refused to close her eyes. In the jungle, staying awake meant staying alive. And then, the first faint light of morning began to appear. Darkness slowly loosened its grip, but the fight for survival was far from over. With the first light of morning, the jungle felt slightly less terrifying. Shadows slowly retreated, and for the first time since the crash, a fragile sense of hope began to emerge. Despite the pain, Julian gathered herself. Every movement hurt, yet she made a conscious decision to stand up and take her first steps forward, choosing survival over surrender. She knew one thing with absolute certainty: without water, survival was impossible. In the vast jungle around her, finding water was no longer a choice, it was her only chance to stay alive. In search of water, she stepped deeper into the jungle. With every step, the forest grew thicker and more unforgiving, yet turning back was no longer an option. With every step she took, exhaustion deepened and pain intensified. Her body was weakening, yet her will to survive refused to let her stop. Then through the heavy silence of the jungle, she heard it, the faint sound of flowing water in the distance. A fragile signal of hope cutting through the fear and exhaustion. That sound, more than just water, became her first true hope of survival. In the heart of the jungle, it was the promise that life had not yet given up on her. Julian made a clear decision to follow that sound, because in the vastness of the jungle, it was no longer just a direction, it was her last remaining hope. From every direction, the jungle surrounded her with sound: insects, distant calls, rustling leaves. Each noise felt closer than before, reminding her she was never truly alone. At times, fear threatened to overpower her resolve. Doubt crept into her thoughts, whispering questions of survival. Yet with every breath, she fought to keep moving forward, but she did not stop. Step after step, she kept moving forward. In the face of fear and exhaustion, her determination refused to break. Survival demanded motion. At last, in the heart of the jungle, she saw it, a small stream of flowing water. After endless fear and exhaustion, this narrow ribbon of life became her greatest relief. She wasted no time. Kneeling beside the stream, Julianne bent down to drink the water, each sip restoring strength, each moment pulling her back from the edge. That water, more than relief, became the beginning of a new chapter in her survival. From that moment on, the stream was no longer just water, it was her guide through the jungle. Julianne realized something crucial. Water did more than quench thirst. Streams lead somewhere, and somewhere downstream, there was always a chance of human life. She followed the stream step by step because it was her way to survive. With every step, the pain in her injured leg walked with her. But she did not stop, because in this jungle, stopping meant death. Night was closing in again, and the jungle in its silence felt like it was watching her. She decided to stay close to the water, because in the jungle, survival demands constant awareness. That night, sleep never truly came. Every sound of the jungle and every breath she took kept her alert. As she walked on, something strange caught her eye inside the jungle, something that glimmered, and suddenly, her heart began to race. She moved closer, and then she realized it was a piece of the airplane. The reality was now right in front of her. A little farther ahead, her eyes stopped on the bodies lying on the ground. They were passengers, just like her. And in that moment, the full weight of reality hit her. Her heart began to pound. Only one fear echoed in her mind, that her mother might be lying here too. She stepped closer to one body, her heart pounding with fear. Slowly, she leaned in to look, every movement careful, afraid of what the truth might reveal. But it wasn't her mother. She took a deep breath. A small sense of relief washed over her, yet the fear remained. She understood then, survival was her only responsibility now. No help, no one else. Just her will to live. She kept walking, and with every step, the jungle grew more terrifying. Fear was now walking beside her. Sometimes strange screams echoed in the distance, and sometimes even the slightest rustle of leaves was enough to make her heart tremble. Venomous insects and mosquitoes swarmed around her constantly, as if the jungle itself refused to let her breathe in peace. Sometimes it felt as if the jungle wasn't just silent, but watching her. Every tree, every shadow, almost alive. She wasn't alone, but those she encountered were no longer alive. Hunger was growing unbearable, but in the jungle, not everything is safe to eat. One mistake could mean death. Sometimes the only thing she had were a few biscuits salvaged from the plain, and sometimes just the river's water. From childhood, her father had taught her the laws of the jungle, what was safe and what could take a life. It was that knowledge that kept her alive in this terrifying jungle, and even now, it was pushing her forward. She knew that a river always leads to people, and perhaps this very path would lead her back to life. Days passed. Her body grew weaker with each one, but her will only grew stronger. With every step, there was only one hope: to survive. And then she saw something that changed everything. Near the riverbank, she noticed footprints left by humans. In that moment, the hope she had lost came back to life. Soon, she saw people working deep inside the jungle. She couldn't speak, but her eyes said everything. They realized she was a survivor. Help had arrived, and her journey through the jungle was over. Days later, she was reunited with her mother. This was not just a survival story, it was a testament to human resilience.